Well, really happy to be checking in with Chris Huffman, who's the founder of the Opportunists. You actually didn't start racing as the Opportunists here. Were you the Plantagenets? Which I always kept saying Plantagenets.
There's several pronunciations we had at every time station in 2017. Yeah, 2017 it was the Plantagenets, and I was invited to be on that team as a racer with experience. The other guys didn't have that much experience.
It's like we're getting some wind noise on that. Maybe turn. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if we got a protector. So you were invited into that team. Now you're the director of service at Bremen Motor Cars. How did you take on more of a role then?
Well, the person who put together the team that year had a friend who had done Ram twice, and he wanted to have that experience after hearing about it. And he was a cyclist, but not as serious as he needed to be in order to do Ram. So they were looking for somebody with a little more cycling experience. So they picked me to be on the team. And he had another gentleman from his company, so two from the company, and another that was a good cyclist. So we took him under our wing. We went up to North Carolina, Carmichael Training Systems a couple of times, and for some intensive workouts and then ongoing training. They signed up for a complete training program and got themselves in shape. And our goal that year was to finish. And we kind of surprised ourselves in that we were in the 50 to 59 all male category. That was the year Legends of the Road was in our category.
Now 3. You're good.
Yeah. So we were in third place after the first day of cycling, and we said, "Wow, that would be great if we can just hold on to this." And then after the second day, we passed the Brazilians, so we were in second place. And after the third day, we had passed the Legends of the Road. We were in first, and we finished in first. So that was a great start to my involvement in Ram, which lit the fire for me to want to continue. Unfortunately, the leader who wanted to do Ram that year, he said, "I'm one and done," because of the commitment it takes, the time it takes, and that it takes so much out of you if you're not, a dedicated cyclist that's going to put in the hard work every day of the year, really.
Well, and it's not only a commitment for the racer, but I mean, it's really nice to have a supportive job and definitely a supportive family because it takes so much time away from everything else.
Oh, absolutely. To be in shape for Ram, it's not a matter of upping your mileage for a few months. I ride 6 days a week, every week of the year, and put the mileage in that. When people say, "Are you training for Ram?" I said, "Yeah, I'm training for Ram all the time. I really don't do a whole lot special to get ready for it, other than, maybe do a little speed work. But, to do Ram, you have to really have that level of endurance built in over a long period of time if you're going to do it successfully and if you're going to do it without over-stressing. You're going to be stressed anyway, but over-stressing. Lisa was asking me about that, and I said, well, today, I mean, we finished at 4:30 this morning, I think.
Right.
And I told her my biggest issue at the moment is sleep deprivation. My muscles aren't sore. I'm used to being on the bike hours. So in order to do Ram, you really have to be dedicated and just continually train in a way that's going to reward you.
Now, how did you come into contact with Lisa Stella, Director of Development at Opportunity, Early Education, and Family Center? Right. I'm so glad I wrote that down.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. So that first year I was on Ram, the leader of our team that year had 3 charities that he wanted to raise money for, and one of them was Opportunity. The other was the Palm Beach Police Foundation, and the other was American Heart Association Teaching Gardens. So I love the experience so much that I wanted to put together a team of and do RAM in 2018. So, in looking at those charities and the benefit that they reaped, I could see that, in my opinion, I could do more for focusing on one charity and that being Opportunity, where the other two had a much broader base of fundraising, where the Opportunity School, being for underprivileged children ages 6 months to 6 years, their support base was much narrower than those other larger organizations. So I approached the school and said, we did it last year, and I'd like to do it again this year, but have Opportunity be the one and only entity that we're going to raise funds for.
So, Lisa, what was your response when Chris came to you with this idea? And did it seem a little outrageous or outlandish?
Well, the good news is that I just started the month before the pandemic last year. So my boss, Ali Egger, was the one that said, absolutely, we're in. And since then, the commitment has been there on both sides. Chris is magic when he walks into the school. The kids, when they see him, absolutely light up like light bulbs. And you can see that he has such an influence on them when they see him, and they know what he does, and he explains how the race works and what the goal is and how this is their team and how they cheer him on. There's nothing like it. It's true magic.
So one of the things I'd really like to just have you share the mic back and forth here, but you really get the kids involved with this. And did you do kind of a RAM for the kids during COVID?
Yeah, we did. And one of the things that, a lot of things we do with the kids, but we're very engaged with them with videos and Facebook Live during the race, and in building that enthusiasm over the years. When COVID came, of course, we were registered to do the race in 2020, and when it didn't come off, we said, so what else can we do to keep RAM at the forefront, because the kids enjoy it so much with our interaction with them. Things like we go over to the school and we'll talk about geography, and we'll talk about going across the United States, and we go to California, and they learn geography. And they also learn that in order to do that, we have to set goals, and that we have to plan ahead, and we have obstacles that we have to overcome. We have to adapt. We did, in order to keep the enthusiasm going, and more importantly, the funds coming, we developed Kids RAM. So Kids RAM was, the kids, when we first started, had a school that was, the facility was small, very old, overcrowded. And in the process, they were able to build a new facility, which was going to triple the capacity. And they have a nice big parking lot. So we said, listen, they know we're a four-man team. They've seen us do this. So let's do a Kids RAM, and we'll fundraise the Kids RAM like we do RAM. And we had 10 teams of 4 kids. They had their tricycles. So we had them lined up in the parking lot. We had a route laid out. We had a local supporter who was an artist who drew the 12 states that we go through. And we actually, we held a mini RAM. And if you look at some of the videos, we had, all the instructors in jerseys. We had T-shirts for the kids that said Kids RAM. And they got so into it, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was nonstop cheering, and the kids were competing with each other. And we found very quickly that the adults had to marshal the corners, and we had to make sure there was no blocking and rolling another tricyclist. But it was so exciting and so much fun. And we had a donation from one of the local award suppliers. They all got a medal, very similar to what you get when you finish RAM. They got the T-shirt, and we raised, with no cost base, because everything was volunteered, we raised $20,000 for the school for Kids RAM. And that is now becoming an annual
Say,
event.
I was just going to say.
So I think Lisa was telling me on the way over about, the Kids Ram lasted for about an hour and a half. And I believe, let her tell you the plans for what changes they're making to make it an even bigger event.
And could you also let us know how do kids sign up for it? Does anyone who signs up get the opportunity to ride, or is there a limit? Is there sort of a tryout that they have to do?
What we're doing is, because again, we're a small school, what we would do is just choose the children who are in the VBK plan, because they'd follow instruction, the 4-year-olds or the 3-year-olds we would take, and we'd have them in their different teams, and they'd know what they had to do, because Chris and Kathy and the teachers would work together and show them exactly what was going to go on. But of course, like Chris said, we would have somebody that wants to really ride as fast as he possibly can. So he's zipping through and he's not following the course. So we had Chris and the team and their kits, they're running around after the kids, corralling them. So this way they're going around the racetrack the way they're supposed to. But it was amazing and it was wonderful. And again, we're going to do it again this year because the kids get so inspired when they see the team do it, the Opportunists, that they're ready to start their RAM and start training for it now for October 15th. So if you're in South Florida, come and join us because October 15th is the day. It's a full, well,
And I was
it's
just
like
going to say, so it was an
half a
hour
day.
and a half.
No.
How long are they going now?
Well, we're going to kick it off with a breakfast, and we're going to ask our volunteers to come and join us to be part of the celebration. And we were talking about doing a time capsule, and we were supposed to do that when the school opened. So we were going to bury the time capsule. So that'll be part of a celebration of the whole event, the Kids Ram. And what Chris neglected to tell you about, which was the best part, is that we were able to get a sponsor, actually have 2 of their executives race each other on tricycles, and then they collected money. Everybody was betting on them, but the winner at the end of the day was the school, and that was a hoot. And the kids just thought that was the greatest thing to see, a 6-foot man on a tricycle going like this, trying to get around. It was the best. So we're going to actually try to get more sponsors to race against each other and be part of that program too.
So Lisa, did you come out? Were you on the crew?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I just get a shirt because I'm part of the school. So see, lucky me. No, I had to be at the school.
So I'm just so impressed with your involvement with the organization that you're raising funds for. This is really personal for you and the team.
Yeah, it is. It's, I have grandchildren, and of course we've had our own kids, and I love kids, and I've grown up through development of sports being, a microcosm of life. Like RAM, I say RAM is a microcosm of life. You have a plan, and you try and stick to the plan, but stuff happens, and you got to be able to learn how to adapt and overcome obstacles and keep a positive attitude. So with the development of these kids and with the statistics that they have about them going through the process and the lessons and the teaching plans at that school, they have a much, much greater chance in life to be successful and to I'm trying to think of the percentage of there's a rate, I don't know what it is, it's 70% or so that they're more likely to be in the first 6 years. That development is really forming them for the rest of their life. So so it is personal to me, and it's personal to see to get them to understand, to start thinking, to do some critical thinking even at that age. So you're on your bike, you're doing this, you're doing that. Now you're going to go from here, from A to B, from California to Annapolis. What do you think you have to do to prepare for that? What do you think is going to happen along the way? Where are you going to get your food? What are you going to do? So I see RAM as a very educational process. Yes, it's fun to ride bikes and fun to ride tricycles, but the prep for that, that didn't happen in one day. We started lessons plans about RAM a couple months in advance of the actual day. It's almost like, preparing for the real RAM. You better start, if you're going to do it next year, tomorrow's the first day of planning. You look at the lessons that you learned from this year. I mean, I've done it 4 years in a row now, and you learn something every time you do it. And so it's all about learning, and it's all about overcoming adversity, and it's also about learning how to take things that, are difficulties and address them in a positive way as opposed to a negative way. So yeah, it is very personal for me, and we love working with the kids, and the kids love seeing us and being over there, and they light up our lives.
What was your goal in fundraising for the 2021 race? And then what are you looking at for the October 15th race?
So this year, we knew there was going to be a COVID influence, and we've been very fortunate in the previous 2 years to raise around 125,000. So we set our target to be 100,000 this year, knowing that we were going to have some struggles. And probably a month ago, we were just under 50,000, and I was starting to think that, well, maybe we'll be lucky if we can get to 75. And as it gets closer to race day, our reminders and our contacts increase in their frequency. And everyone who has contributed previously is more than willing to continue that because they can see the results. And we encourage them to go to the Facebook pages, the Race Across America Facebook page, the Opportunists, we have our own Facebook page. And I believe they can see from what we, publish, and which is mainly focused on the kids and what benefit they're getting out of this. So the good news is that I think it was the day we left for California. The next day, I got an email from Allie, and we received a $10,000 donation, which got us up to the thermometer. We have a thermometer on the website for the donation page, and the thermometer had shot from 50,000 a month ago. We are now up to 96,000. And a quick little story about the latest donation of $4,000 we got. One of the racers from last year, or when I say last year, 2019 on the team, he rides with us all the time still. He didn't want to do RAM again. And he looked at the team we had this year. And of course, we had a girl on the team. So he said,
who was phenomenal.
Yeah. Well,
is phenomenal.
Yeah. So he said, listen, I'm going to donate 1,000 this year because the racers who are on the team, they each donate 5,000 to become a racer. So that's guaranteed money right up front, seed money. So he said, I'm going to donate $1,000 even though I'm not racing with you guys this year. And I'll tell you what, if you beat the time we did last year, I'm going to give you another $4,000. So that's the bet. So as time went, we said, great. Okay, Ben. As time went by, Kathy started to ride with our group. And Kathy made this big mistake because she's so competitive. She was kicking his ass. So 2 weeks before the event, Ben sends me an email and says, hey, I hear you're going to have an RV this year, and we didn't have one last year. And if I had more rest, I could have gone faster. So I'm changing the bet from beating our time from last year to 12 hours less, because every rider will be 3 hours quicker. So we just told him, you are so full of it. And at any rate, so we were 11 hours and something, 11 and a half hours faster this year than last year. He called me this morning. He called me this morning after the ceremony, and he said, I'm here with all the guys at the coffee shop. He said, you guys are unbelievable. He's going on and on and on. And he didn't mention the bet. So I said, Ben, are you giving us the $4,000 or not? He said, yeah, I'm giving you the $4,000. So that got us up to 96. We only need another $4,000, folks. So if you want to donate, go to www.opportunitypbc.org/Race Across America.
Can you say that one more time a little slower?
Yeah. opportunitypbc.org/Race Across America. And when you go to that website, you're going to see a story told. There's a story about each racer. There's a story about the kids. There's a story about the school. So it gives you a lot of background on the things we're talking about and how important it is that we continue to support and grow the Opportunity School and benefit these underprivileged children.
You know, I got to say, I think a motorhome can slow you down because I always ride faster when I sleep in the van. I just blow the motorhome off. That's for the crew to sleep in. I don't like to leave the race.
You're absolutely right. And we had a couple racers this year, and I was one of them. One of the days I said, I want to stay in the van because I want to get there faster to get to the motel because I can't sleep in the RV anyway. So it's a mix, it's a mixed blessing. But you're right.
So, Lisa, what does this mean for you? What does having the funds do for the school? How are we helping your organization?
Well, first of all, I just want to tell you, for the past 4 years, including the funds raised today, Chris and team have raised $418,000 for the school. So again, Chris, it's amazing, and thank you so much for everything you do for us. What that means is that our population are disadvantaged children and their families. The school is not only about the children and helping them thrive, we also help the family thrive. So in order for parents to have their child enrolled in the school, they also have to do parent workshops. It's mandatory. They have to have a plan for the family to help the family succeed. So we work with the family as a whole. We just hired a social worker in the fall who has been able to do miraculous things by keeping people within their homes and not being homeless, because we had so many people that are food insecure or don't have a place to live. So the tuition that we receive covers about 40% of what it costs to run a preschool. So when we fundraise and when Chris rides for us, he helps us cover that 60% so we can provide 2 meals a day to these children and a snack. We give them all the loving and nurturing they need. They get individual development plans based on all of their needs and where they are engaged based on their abilities. So if you can do something really well, it doesn't mean that, Johnny is be able to do it exactly like you. Johnny may be much better at it, or he may need a little extra help to get there. And that's what we work on. So it's all about the success and planting these seeds. Chris is actually helping us grow a forest, and we see the future, and the future is bright. And it's all because of Chris and team. Thank you so much.
Last question for you. Where do we go to see the October 15th race? How do we get information on that? How can we make donations for that?
Okay, we will be working in the next couple of weeks to put up the web page for that. So we'll get our QGive page like we did for the Opportunity Ram Race here, or for the Opportunists. You go to www.opportunitypbc.org and you'll see that there'll be updated events. But we'll be putting things together. We're going to have a bigger day than we had originally planned because, again, we want to get the volunteers involved, very much like Chris volunteers to cycle for us, Chris and Kathy, and Matt and Michelle. But also we have other people that come and they teach. They have STEM sessions with the children, and they may build a volcano with them and show them how it works, or they may teach them about different sounds on a piano. So all of those different programs, we have volunteers that read to them and give their special talent and skills to them, and it makes them better human beings, and it gets them so excited about the possibilities that are ahead.
Chris, anything you'd like to add in conclusion? And I have to say, it sounds like if I donate to your team, that money's all going to the foundation.
Absolutely. One of the things I wanted to add is that Kathy Petrillo, our female racer this year, came up with an unbelievably fantastic idea. We had a mascot with us this year. We had a mascot, and the mascot is a stuffed animal that's a ram. Ram. And we call that stuffed animal Ramsey. So it's kind of like we did a thing with the kids like a Where's Waldo? Where's Ramsey? Where's Ramsey today? We have pictures posted on Facebook. Ramsey pumping a tire. Ramsey working in the RV, making food. Ramsey sitting on the handlebars while Kathy's going 26 miles an hour. Yeah, he's driving the RV.
And I saw him cross the finish line.
Yeah, that's right. So that idea, that little seed of an idea, which we thought, this will be fun for the kids, has now developed into, we're going to look into being able to produce that product and call it Ramsey. We talked to Fred and Rick, and we showed it. We showed it to them when we were in California before we left, and that's kind of actually what sparked it, because it was right next. We were right next to the store when we were showing it to them, and we said, "Hey, you know what? All the parents and grandparents who are involved in RAM and even out of RAM, because we actually took one of our, we have some smaller kits for the kids, so we took one of those kits, we cut it up, and we actually, Ramsey, the stuffed ram, was wearing a kit.
Yeah, I saw
He
his
was wearing a jersey.
Exactly.
So we think it'll make a great gift idea, and hopefully we can build it into something, of scale that can generate revenue for the school. And the kids love it. The kids will love it. So yeah, we look forward to, like I started to talk about the 4 years of RAM, where every year you want to improve things and get ideas that'll make it better and make you faster or make you do that. And Ramsey's one of those ideas that we see that's a small spark that we would love to see grow into a big flame and become very popular, not just in the RAM world, but with all kids. Get that. My grandkids must have 30 stuffed animals in a basket and strewn around their bed. Who wouldn't want to have a Ramsey?
Ramsey is really cute.
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that we're trying to do. We're always seeking to improve it, make it better. How can we more connect with the kids? How can the kids get a better education out of it and a better chance in life?
Well, let's hope we can help you get that extra $4,000 to reach your 100.
Absolutely.
And hope we see you again next year and in the years in the future.
Yep. Thanks so much, George. It's great being here.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.